So, welcome to the live stream. I wasn't necessarily planning to live stream today, but I've had loads of messages from lots of you people in DMs and comment sections asking for Teddy Pikachu to come out. And well, it's a rest day of the Vuelta, so why not? I'm not sure how long the stream is gonna be. Maybe about 1 hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm roughly aiming for. And as always, it's Teddy Pikachu Adventure, so let's jump right in. We've got our man, Teddy Pikachu, with 73 flat stats, 74 mountain stats, 76 medium mountain. We've got great stats at this point, so there's nothing we can really point at that's horrible except our time trial. Our hill stat is actually quite good now, 70. Welcome to the chat, everyone. Ardnim, Joao Pereira, Dennis, Finn, Man103, Jordan, Nimea, welcome back. Anyway, so on today's menu then, let's take a look at our calendar. We've got quite a few races. We are now, last time we finished off at the Tour of Japan, Tour of Gyeongnam, can't say that wrong, and the Japanese National Road Race, which we won dominantly, winning by like 24 minutes. Now the time trial is coming up, and I don't necessarily know what to expect because our man is still 64 time trial, but it's not completely flat, so I assume that our 70 hill stats should help here. I reckon we might be able to compete. Nonetheless, let's continue onwards because I also want to take some of these one-day races on in the last spot of the season, although, let's be honest about it, China League Hong Kong Gang, not exactly a parkour that fits Mr. Teddy Pikachu. So, a little bit worried. But anyway, let's head forward and let's start the time trial, I would say. How is everyone feeling about the Vuelta? 1 week left, and then the race is basically over. Bola del Mundo, Moredero, 2 pretty nice climbs coming up in the next week. A 23-kilometer time trial. Depending on how Jonas and Joao are, that could go either way. I don't know, what do you expect? I've had an interview with Portuguese newspaper earlier, so that was intriguing. Doesn't necessarily happen often. I feel like within the sport of cycling, mainstream news, like the mainstream news that covers everything, those kind of media, I feel like, tend to connect with people inside the sport, either when someone big is doing something great in their country. So, for example, Joao Almeida is on the brink of potentially competing for the Vuelta victory. Then they might reach out for an interview, stuff like that. But also, a lot of the time, it's when something viral happens. For example, with Omiopi a couple years ago, that went viral. Newspapers reach out, are like, oh, stuff like this happening in cycling. What do you think? I'd rather talk about cycling. So, for example, talk about Joao Almeida, stuff like that. Joao Pereira in the chat says, I'm the least deluded Joao in the world. Joao Almeida is going to destroy Vingegaard in the time trial and get the Vuelta. The time trial is a difficult one for me. Because if you look at an average time trial, Jonas Vingegaard is the better time trialist. But it's not a massive margin. I'm talking about 20, 30 seconds, roughly. But then on the opposite side of our discussion here, Vingegaard did not look like he could attack Joao on Angliru, for example. So it's not like he looks in his absolute peak form, while Almeida, slightly better preparation towards the Tour de France. Yes, he had his crash at the Tour de France, but was on altitude from the moment that the Tour de France ended in Andorra, while Jonas then still had to do a rest week, etc. So slightly better preparation for Almeida. I think that's why Almeida's at his best level here, which he is. So in this time trial, it could go either way. But I would still say on paper, Vingegaard should take a little bit of time on Joao win that time trial. But hey, I'm always for the entertainment of the race. I don't care who of the two wins, as long as it's close. Anyway, Japanese National Championships ITT. We've got, who's the favorite? Yuhi Todome. So the EF Easy Post rider, we are second favorite. I met Todome in the Santos Tour Down Under in January. Super nice guy. But 36 kilometers. That's a bit longer than I expected it to be. Hilly. I don't know whether we can win this or not. We are second favorite, so I assume that we should be able to. That is my assumption here. But anyway, I'm going to jump straight in, I guess. Let's hop into the race. Makos says hi from Kecskemét, Hungary. Did I say that remotely correctly? I've only been to Hungary once, and I gotta say, not a language that I could remotely understand. Anyway, we have to wait 86 riders for a rider to start, so let's figure out how this will go. Yelmer asks, what is the max rating a driver can get, a rider can get? 85 in a stat is the max a rider can get. What do you think about the newest transfers? Patrick and I are going to do a transfers podcast probably next week somewhere. But that being said, how about we go through them while we're doing this live stream? Let me take a look at the list because don't want to forget any of the transfers here. If this website starts to load. Obviously, Olaf Koy was the big one today. A lot of riders announced for the Decathlon AG2R today. For example, Olaf Koy is the first one. Olaf Koy is a rider that he's, in my opinion, the fourth best sprinter in the world. And he's been on this brink of being... Because I've always considered the three best sprinters the top sprinters. So that is Jonathan Milan, Jasper Philipsen, and Tim Merlier, who on paper right now seems to be the best. So those three. Olaf Koy's been knocking on that door for a while, and I feel like he still has not completely gone through that door. Olaf Koy is not in that top bracket. He's just below that. And when the other top sprinters are not present in a Grand Tour, he can take a stage win here and there. Every now and then he can beat a Milan, he can beat a Merlier on their day. But 90% of the time, if Merlier and Koy are at the start line, Merlier will win that sprint. So that's why Koy is like right under for me. And then the problem, of course, is that how can you go from a team like Visma Lease Bike, who already has... Well, to be fair, they didn't necessarily have an amazing lead out for Olaf Koy either. The fact that Matthew Brennan has to lead out Olaf Koy at races like the Tour of Britain, and Matthew Brennan's done 2 lead outs this year. And both of them were pretty bad. Both of them went backwards. So Olaf Koy had to fix it himself. But yeah, Daniel McLeod, that was an attempt at a project within Visma Lease Bike. I'm not sure it worked out, but I'm not sure I blame Dan McLeod either, because I feel like he can be a good lead out, but maybe not in the way that Olaf Koy is a slightly more versatile sprinter needs. So then we see him now moving to the Decathlon AG2R with plenty of riders. Robbe Gijs from Alpes in de Koning, who is part of a lead out there. Kees Bol from Astana, who is part of a lead out there. Dan Holle from Little Trek, who was every now and then part of the lead out there, the early rider to set up the eventual thing. And Tobias Lund Andresen from Picnic PostNL, who is the versatile sprinter now coming to the Decathlon AG2R. But he also did a couple of lead outs for Jakobsen before his injury, and then eventually for Bittner, and then they both started sprinting every now and then. So the one thing you always have to keep in mind is that just because you gather a lot of riders that can do a lead out doesn't mean that lead out has the chemistry to start getting Olaf Koy victories in the first half of next season. That will have to be a project to get them all working together, etc. It probably helps that the majority of that train speaks Dutch and can communicate very properly, even though I would expect those riders already to be pretty fluent in English. But all these details matter when it's not just good riders together and in Pro Cycling Manager you put them in the wheel of the other rider. It's not that simple in real life. They need to be able to trust each other. They need to know, for example, let's say hypothetically I'm the sprinter. I need to be relatively aware of, okay, my lead out. Is he going to go there or is he going to go there? What is his usual choices? Should I follow him there? Should I not follow him there? Stuff like that. Those are the small decisions that Mikel Murko and Cavendish back in the day were really good at. Those kind of combinations. Afternoon, Scent of Brenare. Brenner. Scent of Brenner. I'm trying, okay? Yes, this is the Japanese ITT. Yelmer asks, what about Peterson? I assume this is a question about whether he's a top sprinter, etc. Honestly, in Peloton sprints, Mess Peterson has not been that great this year. And it's really in the versatile stages that he delivers. Like in the Giro versatile stages, stuff like that. That's where he can cook people. But in like large bunch sprints, he has been unable to position himself quite a lot of the time. Like, for example, early on in the Vuelta, there was a sprint where he wasn't necessarily in a great position to begin with, but then he moved into a position on the right side of the road, and he just stayed in the wheel of a lead out from another team that would eventually go off the front, and he just followed that wheel until he was all the way back in Narnia. So, I don't know. Sometimes in bunch sprints, I feel like his decision-making isn't as good as a Tim Merlier, for example, who can really pave his way through a sprint like that. But hey, Tim Merlier, pretty great rider. We saw it yesterday. Mess Pedersen, sorry. I was like, that didn't make sense. I didn't see Merlier yesterday. 24 riders to wait for. I should probably not be doing it on times one. That would be making it a bit easier for us. Zeniak asks, where do I see Matthias Watzek in a few years? Ooh. I'd like to see him more relevant in the Cobble Classics because he was pretty strong in the opening weekend, but then crashed in Strade Bianche and it never really came out during that Cobble Classic season. So I assume that is a space where I want to see him become better and more successful. 1 week stage races, I wouldn't be shocked if at some point he competes. Like if there's a very light Romandy, stuff like that, or a Tour de Pologne. I think Watzek can compete in a Tour de Pologne. That's my assumption. Obviously not if Pogacar's at the start line, but hello Remy, welcome. Vitor asks, is your opinion Koy with Alpecin lead out is better than Jasper? Ooh, that is difficult to say. We can't forget that Jasper Philipsen dominated in his best year. Eh? I wouldn't necessarily say that. Because, for example, Olaf Koy had a perfect lead out in the last stage of the Giro. He won that race, but it wasn't an impressive sprint, you know? So I kind of expected a more dominant victory after such a good lead out that day. And I expect a more dominant lead out if you put Philipsen in the wheel of Wout van Aert there. But hey, according to Daniel Benson, Olaf Koy is now the most earning sprinter in the world. I've heard the figure 3 million per year being thrown around a few times, and I don't know. Well, give me a second. We got a race first. Then we'll get back to the money talk about Olaf Koy. How fast do I need to go here? It's a 36-kilometer time trial, so 84 will be too much. It's very up and down, so I should probably be micromanaging this time trial better than I am, but I'll just try and go 86 for now. Spend a bit of my red bar on this uphill. Probably 87, 88. That is fine. Zoom out a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to click here to make sure I've got my name tag on my screen, because I like that. Back down to 85 in this small descent to recover my red bar. Should probably go a little bit less. This is so up and down this time trial. Impossible to micromanage. Anyway, back uphill. So, I literally scrolled up on my mouse scroll, and my effort went to 70. This has happened a few times in PCM, so I think it's a bug. But it's really annoying, that's for sure. Anyway, 87, that is way too much. Let's go back to 80, and let's try and keep going on like this for a while, because if we need to micromanage this time trial with all these small hills, then we're going to be here for a year. And I'm not that invested in the Japanese NC ITT, I won't lie. There we go. First time check incoming pretty soon. So let's take a look what happens here. We don't have Yuhi Todome on the list of results on the right top yet, so we don't know what his time is going to be, but our time is going to be straight to the starting podium, 57 seconds faster than a random Japanese rider, Yuma Koishi. I'm going to drop it down to 78. Is that a viable strategy? Where are we? Am I blind? Yes, I'm blind. We're right there. So a bit of a downhill coming up where we can recover a little bit. So let's drop it down to 77 soon. I want to know what Todome is doing, but I can't see. Oh, he's on 1 minute at the first time check. So either he's doing a bad time trial or I started way too fast. And looking at my energy, I feel like I started way too fast. We are passing loads of riders though. But I don't really know what to expect for the rest of this time trial. Second time check coming up in about 3 kilometers. I should be using my red bar more on these small climbs, but so I will. 88, there we go. Back down to 80 on the downhill. Back down to 88. We're just going up and down when it comes to our effort. Now back up again. Now back down again. What a strategy. Last 13 kilometers into the second time check, and let's take a look. Teddy Pikachu gets a first time by 1:35. So we are cooking, but we gotta make sure we have enough energy to cross the finish line now. So let's make sure we that downhill will help us here though, so that's nice. Then it's up and down to the finish line once again. But we've got a red bar to also spend, so let's drop it down to not 68, 77, something like that, maybe 76. Passing this man, Kamada. Don't care too much. At the second time check, Todome is on 1:13, so I think Teddy Pikachu is about to win this race. Chat, what do you think? I think we're cooking these frauds. 6 kilometers to go. Don't have that much energy, but enough to survive, I think. On 75. Last 5 kilometers. And the yellow bar is almost empty, so let's keep going on. I think we can do 76 or something, because 3 kilometers to spend an entire red bar. Let's do 85. Let's see how fast the red bar empties, and let's adapt accordingly. 1.7, 1.5. Lower it, lower it, lower it to 80. Into the final kilometer. 80 is fine. Let's drop it to 75. And we're out of energy now, so that's fine. First time by 1:43 on Koishi, and I think we're gonna beat Todome here. Let's take a look at the podium. There we go. 29 seconds only, so we went too fast at the start. But Teddy Pikachu takes home the victory, so another win for a man. That is beautiful. Japanese national champion road race now and time trial. That's legendary. So, Velolin, one of the two. Velolin Matsuyama with 4 riders in the top 6. Sadly from P3 to P6. But Teddy Pikachu takes the W. That's great. Perfect start. We get 13 XP only, that is devastating. But an evolution of interest. So, last episode we had interest from certain teams, and literally every team on this list wants us at this point, which is great. We've been investing contacts of interest in Unibet Titama Rockets because the chat 2 live streams in a row has chosen this as our destination for next season. So that should be an enjoyable thing as long as they give me a contract, because if every single one of these teams decides they want me and they all start giving me contracts, except Unibet, then it becomes a problem. Anyway, next race is the Road Race Tokyo Tama. Actually a race I can compete in. Not completely flat, so I reckon I should win this. Anyway, let's simulate towards it. Anyway, I was saying, let's hypothetically think right now. Let's think through a World Tour team. Let's say you're the manager of a World Tour team. Hypothetically, A rider like Tish Benoit. Chat, I want you to guess. Roughly how much money do you think a rider like Tish Benoit is on per year? How much money would a decathlon roughly have to spend to get Tish Benoit in their team? I'm waiting. I'm waiting on you, chat. Chat is silent. I'm probably delayed. I assume that the live stream has like a 10-second delay, and that's why the chat comes behind right now. Vitor says 600k. Aiden says 500k. Joao says 750k. Halo says 700k. Arnim says 750k. Francesco said 500k. Mako says 1.2 million. You can assume it's above 1 million. Yeah. So it's definitely more than an estimation of 500k. You can double that 500k. It's above 1 million for a rider like that these days. So the money within cycling for those type of riders has increased. And when it comes to sprinters, I feel like it maybe didn't increase as much as it did for mountain domestique, stuff like that. And we're gonna do the game first, and then I'll get back to my discussion. Anyway, we got investor contacts of interest. Tirma Rocket's already in the green. We'll up that even more. And we'll keep on simulating. Oh, let's accept first. There we go. So, let's say Benoit is above 1 million. That means that if you go through the teams of UAE Team Emirates and Visma Lease Bike, if you go through their roster, I reckon you can easily find 15 riders per one of those teams that is on at least 1 million plus. Probably 20 on UAE. That's my assumption from the top of my head. So, is it then not worth it for a team like Decathlon to spend 3 million for an Olaf Koy, which is a rider that delivers 10 plus victories per year if you send them to the right races? Because at the end of the day, I bet they're probably paying 7 figures for Benoit as well. I would rather have Koy in my team than 3 Benoits, I think. Because 3 Benoits, I'm not sure if you duplicate Benoit, if that increases the amount of victories they can help in. You know? Benoit is a rider that can consistently top 10 classics, that can win a Grand Tour stage for the team. But I don't know if I take 3 Benoits over an Olaf Koy. But on the other hand, they bought an entire sprint train. They had to pay more than just the Benoit, than just the Koy. So my first reaction was, okay, why the hell would a team pay 3 million for a Koy? But when I then think about the amount of money that teams are spending on riders that can't necessarily deliver them victories or not necessarily UCI points, then I'm like, yeah, it's probably a good addition to the team. Chris K says he'll take 3 Benoits. Hey, it's subjective. Anyway, Road Race Tokyo Tama. 74 Mountainstad. I don't know if that's going to help here. Hillstad will help. So 70 Hillstad. We're not the favorite. Axel Mario is, but I feel like I can beat that man. Van Hemelen has a sprint. Thomas Champion, I don't know what his stats are. Adrien Boishy, talented rider. Anyway, we're going to be jumping in. Let's cook this race. I think I can win this. The one thing that is certain is that the Decathlon has more money, you know? Like, it is clear from the amount of money they're spending. If you pay 3 million for Koy, if you pay 1 million plus for a Benoit, if you pay, let's look at the rest of their transfers. Lund Andresen, I don't think you're going to be paying 1 million for that one. Like, if I have to assume what that man is on, then I'm saying somewhere between 300k and 500k. I could be wrong with that. En dan Hole, Kees Bol, Robbe Gijs. Like, the entire lead out of Cole is probably 1.5 mil combined. Robbe Gijs towards the lower end of that, financially. That's just an assumption. So let's say they spend 5 million on a full lead out plus sprinter here. If it can get them 10 plus victories next year, high profile ones, including a Grand Tour stage or two. And it's not just that. If you can have a sprinter that wins 10 races per year, then it becomes more, then your team's more at the forefront of the sport as well. Then you're not considered a mid-table team that just sprints for P3, you know? RS Movistar says, hi Benji, do you think Juan Ayuso is joining Little Trek? I don't know for certain where he's going. The mainstream rumor right now is Little Trek. But I guess we'll see if that happens. I heard there was a 5-year contract on the table according to Javier Ares, Spanish journalist. But I've heard a lot of people that, let's be honest about it, Juan Ayuso is not the most liked rider in the world. Spoilers. I've seen a lot of people that were like, okay, he was fired from UAE and he's never going to find a team again that wants to have a rider like that in their team. That's just bullshit. The reality of the situation is that Juan Ayuso has been trying to leave that team for a while. We know that. It's a public fact that that's the case. The fact that he got an agent earlier this year, Giovanni Lombardi, to try and get away from UAE. He finally got his wish to depart from the team. Happened in the middle of the Vuelta. But the agreement for him to leave the team already happened before the race. The announcement was supposed to happen after the race, but UAE then decided not to do that and release that statement on the rest day, which Juan Ayuso wasn't too happy with that. But I think the overall outcome... How is Sawada already dropped? Can we talk about that? My dude, what's bro doing? Nothing. He's doing nothing. Anyway, the reality is that I would love to see Ayuso at a different team. I can't wait to see whatever team he ends up with. And he's going to have a leadership role there. And he's going to be on a multi-million euro contract, I assume. So I think he's quite happy with the outcome. And especially considering he's winning multiple Vuelta stages as well in the process. He might be one of the most spoken about riders of this entire Vuelta. Hello, Fabian. Enjoy Greece, my friend. Valerio asks, why didn't Decathlon get Ayuso for 3 million? Let's just say that it's not that simple because we don't really know who knew about Ayuso wanting to leave, stuff like that. Let's say Ayuso wants to leave UAE Team Emirates. So he's speaking to UAE Team Emirates about that. But also he has an agent that then also speaks to other teams. We don't know who that agent is talking to. We don't know if Decathlon knew that Ayuso might be coming up on the market. And you can't forget, transfers don't happen in September. They're announced in this period. But Olaf Kool's transfer probably was agreed upon in March, April, maybe even earlier. Stuff like that. Like the fact that we had rumors about a Tish Benoit transfer months ago, I think even before the Tour de France, shows that transfers happen way earlier than I think people think. It's not like in Pro Cycling Manager where the transfers happen in at the end of the year. Or already in early season, riders and teams are speaking to each other about the next year. Scuzzle says or asks, Ineos for Ayuso? I don't think Ineos will do it. But I do enjoy the thought process of it. Like, I'm imagining the Ineos squad with Ayuso in it on Pro Cycling Manager right now. Looks like a pretty strong team. Carlos Rodriguez and Juan Ayuso in one team. Anyway, the climbs are about to start. Let's see here. Let's take a look at the gradients here. So it's 4 times the big climb, each with 2 small climbs afterwards. But I reckon I'll just use my team to try and rough up the race a little bit. So let's get my boys to the front on 85 and let's relay, so that they can make the race as hard as possible. But then again, Krabbe is doing that for Flanders Valois, and not a bad rider, by the way. But maybe when the breakaway is caught, that will change. No, we've got new attacks by Coleman. Honestly, at this point, I might as well just move up with Teddy Pikachu. We've got the team of Axel Mario, not Yukiya Arashiro, so it's a different one, pacing at the moment. Getting ourselves over the top. Teammates lost the wheel there. And we are in a front group alone. That is intriguing. And I'm actually going to push it because I think Mario got dropped by his team. But they're back. Okay, never mind. The pushing might not have been worth it. Quite a few riders going. I'm okay with that happening for now. I'll try to bridge towards them. Maybe on the next bigger climb. Ooh. What is Mario's team doing? Nothing. Curious. Yeah, Mikkel. I'm relatively sure that Ayuso's going to Little, but we don't have an official confirmation yet. I don't think Spanish media would be talking so confidently about it if it wasn't remotely true. Let's get Sugeno to protect me for now. Honda and Nagashima in the wheel. I'm going to go ×2 to the next big climb. I'm going to make a move there. It's only 40 kilometers to go, so I can afford to do so. And should I get some water quickly with Honda? No, with Nagashima. It's only a small group, so getting water should be going pretty quickly. Breakaway with 1 minute 50. It's not bad riders, so I think I might actually set up a bit of a train and start pacing this group. Let's head to the front. There we go. 2 minutes is the gap. And Nagashima is too slow with the water. Stop the tempo to make sure Nagashima can get the water to the front. And now get back to the front with our boys. And there's the water. Pikachu has it. So that is all that was necessary. Let's do 99 on our man. Why not? Automatic on this man. Automatic on this man. Gonna try and move up to the wheel of Honda with my boy. And should I attack? I think I will. Oh, there we go. We're going solo. And is it a steep downhill? Let's do acrobatic descent for a bit, even though it's not going to last long. There we go. Back into acrobatic descent here. No, we can't. So let's keep pacing on aerodynamic position and see if we can get towards the breakaway somehow. What's happening here? Nagashima, buddy. Get back to that group. You don't need to be up there. Trademark in the chat says, Benji, you said in the podcast that you went on standby on rest days to stay young, yet you're streaming today. You need to get off the game or you'll look 50 by tomorrow. That's true, that's true. My bad, my bad. I lied. I lied on the podcast. Oh no. Jasper asks, what type of rider am I? So my boy right here, Teddy Pikachu, is trying to form a counterbalance towards Tadej Pogacar. So he's a very all-round rider. My main 2 specialties. My first specialty is Northern Classics, so cobbles. My secondary one is climber, because I believe that combination makes it easiest to try and form the most complete rider. There we go, we've reached towards the front of the race. That was easy. 2 minutes on the peloton with 28 kilometers to go, so that was a really good decision to do so. B-Tech Adam Yates with us. Adam Yates. Koman, Matsui, and Yamamoto. Not bad riders, so let's not overspend our energy here, but I do want to push on this next climb to keep the gap to the peloton. VP85 says, in my honest opinion, Decathlon has a possible generational talent in Pole 6S and doesn't want an a-hole like a Yuzo. Makes total sense. I'll be honest. I know Ayuso personally, and he's actually a pretty nice guy. Tadao says or asks, is 2025 the worst performance ever by a team in the Vuelta? You'll have to wait. After the Vuelta, the day after, I will be uploading my... By the way, this break is getting caught. Peloton is cooking and these guys are not relaying with me, so my entire attack was useless. I'm going to try and recover and try to attack again on the last climb. I think that's the play. Because if I spend too much energy on this climb, then I won't have the energy to compete anymore. But the day after the Vuelta, I'll upload my my tier list video in which I rate every single team at the Vuelta. I do this after every Grand Tour, so if you want to check out the old ones, they're on my channel. And I can't wait to do so because it's going to be an interesting discussion. Hypothetically, let's say UAE Team Emirates gets second, but gets 9 stage wins. Let's try and figure out what tier they fit in. Ultima Impression asks, Pedersen better than Philipsen? Not as a sprinter. As a classic rider, Pedersen is a better rider than Philipsen, I would say. I don't think that's a controversial take. But as a sprinter, it's definitely the opposite way around. Well, Wouter, you say S tier, but there is one question, actually. The question is, if UAE did not give freedom on every mountain stage to go into the break for Vine, Yuzo, and Soler, and Almeida actually had support, and the gap in GC at the end of the race, let's say it's 30 seconds, then maybe Almeida could have won the Bloody Vuelta if he had support throughout the race, you know? It all depends on what the gap will be at the end of the race, and I'm getting dropped on this climb because this was the climb I was supposed to attack, but I forgot. So let's try and make sure we get back to the back of that group because this is actually awful. Did I just get dropped? Chat, you're keeping me too busy. I'm going to try and bridge towards the front again, but my energy is really low. I think I'm cooked, chat. I think I'm cooked. I played way too aggressively. Can I make it back to the front? I don't think I will. I feel... Nah, I'll be out of energy. Race is over, boys. I bottled it. Top 10 position is likely, but nothing more. I could have easily won this race if I didn't attack with 46 kilometers to go. Anyway. I am curious who will win though, but I can't see it because we're playing on Pro Cyclist mode. Anyway, Adrien Boissy wins. Told you before the race, pretty good rider. I do wish the Victoria went to me, that's for sure. I bottled that one. How was this race so difficult for Sawada? Our last rider. Bro's yellow bar is completely gone. How bad is that rider? Okay. We will go straight to the results page because, let's be honest about it, we got 9th place, so that was really unimpressive. That was completely my bad. We get 0 XP. We deserve that. What is my favorite fall Italian classic? Question by Trademark. Ooh. Wow, Trevoli Varesini is a bit of a wash. All the small ones like Bernocchi don't really care too much. I like those races, but it's not like I'm like, ooh, who's going to win that? I wouldn't say Lombardia. I think it's Giro dell'Emilia. I like the parkour of Emilia quite a lot. Especially if it's raced aggressively, and every now and then it does get raced aggressively. But I don't think it's Lombardia. can I be honest? I also don't like that the Lombardia parkour changes every year. Because every 2 years it does the same destination location. And then the next year it goes from the finish place to the start place. So it turns around the start and the finish place every year. Do I believe Arno the Leaf from Lotto has potential? Yes. Yes, for sure. Like, every single time he turns up to Omloop, he's great in those races, you know? So I think Arno de Lee is a rider destined to win Omloop and Isbel at some point in his career. Will he start winning Ronde van Vlaanderen? No, I don't think so. Especially if Pogacar and Van der Poel are there. But those smaller classics, he can compete. Okay, next race lands in a week. Yeah, trademark, the Lombardia course has not been announced yet, but I assume that it's going to be the same as 2 years ago. $49 XP month turn, welcome. I won't complain about that. Ew. 9 days towards the... Oh, have I forgotten about my training? So I've got 100% on stage races. So our next upgrade will be stage races. That's nice. But that's fine. That's all I need, I think. I don't think I need to train hill puncher anymore. We've got 70 hill for now. That's good. I'm okay with that. Can I put that there and make that every typical week now? Yes. But we don't need all, like, I will change my screen. I'm going to change my screen. My bad. So what I'm saying here is, so we're basically training 1 puncher and 4 stage races in the week's actions. I think instead, I'm going to change it to not 5 stage races, but specific training time trial. No? What am I looking for? Physical. That's the one. Each physical action tick box will allow you to gain 5 XP on August 1st. It is August 1st. What do you mean? Like, is there any value of me doing this anymore then? If we're already August 1st. Let me try this. On August 1st, the total game... Oh, today. Okay. I'll do 1 physical and 4 stage races. This will allow me to keep my... Do I need to do as much? How many physical can I put in and still keep my stage races at 100%? Yes, I can do that. So I put that to week's actions. Like that. And my stage races remains on 100%. That's good. And in the meanwhile, I'm gaining more XP. Okay. I'm not complaining. I think that's a strat. Vitor in the chat says, put 1 hill to maintain 100% hill. I don't think I need to. Because by the time we get our stage races upgrade, we're going to be at the end of the season almost. I don't think we're going to have... Because let's say level 12 or next level allows us to spend progression of attributes into stage races. I don't think we'll get to level 14 by the end of the year. So I don't care about having stuff at 100% anymore by then. It's all about physical then. Do you know what I mean? So, and it resets at the end of the year anyway. So I'm lowering the the puncher one. I'm keeping the stage races one. And I'll try and train physical to make sure we keep that extra XP bonus. I'm not complaining. I'll do that. There we go. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. Contracts, don't care. Next race in 9 days. Ugh. Which other transfers exist at the moment? So, Cataneo's been confirmed to Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, although we kind of already knew that. As the domestique of your boy Remco Evenepoel. I know that Remco and Mattia are... I know that Remco likes having Mattia in the team from his Quick Step days. Whenever we spoke about him, it was always positive about Cataneo. Jose Felix Parra moving from Kern Pharma to Caja Rural. That's a bit of a wash. Spanish Pro Team to Spanish Pro Team. What else happening here? Vendrami to Jayco has been confirmed 2 days ago. Forgot about that. Yeah, Wouter, we spoke about Robert Hayes shortly. He's basically part of the lead out of Olaf Koy. Killick's been announced for Visma Lease bike. I like that transfer a lot. I think that's a rider that's now riding a lot of 1.1 races for Alpes in the Koning. So the smaller Flemish Belgian classics like Antwerp Epic, stuff like that. But Timo Killick is a rider that it wouldn't shock me if he enters their World Tour Classics team at some point. And is also the kind of rider that, let's say hypothetically, a Grand Tour Week 3 breakaway stage, like the one that Kampenaerts won or got second in, stuff like that, or the one where Asgreen won 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. Those type of stages, give him 3 years and Killick competes for those, I think. Really good roller rider. Anyway, Lev Gonov is back for the flat sprint in Hangkonggang. We are second favorite despite it being a flat sprint, so we've got no terrain to work with here. We have to go for a sprint because there's only a sprint to work with. So let's try and win the sprint against a better sprinter, against our sprint nemesis in this series, Lev Gonov. That now says Amy de Gent to Q36.5. That's been announced, right? Yeah, it's been announced. I don't know, like, I like Amy de Gent, but I don't think he's going to move the needle for Q36.5. Finish in the top 3, roll sprinter. Okay, let's try and do that. Let's wait in the peloton, let's chill. Let's do times 8. Chad asked, do I know what happened to Lascano? I actually don't. Oyer Lascano has not raced since the classic season, I think. And I think he deleted his Instagram as well the other week. Really confusing. I hope he's fine, but I don't know. I still remember that Dwars door Vlaanderen, man, with Lascano and Christophe in the breakaway, I think, that same year. That was a really good addition. That was a really good race. Okay. So, confession time, chat. You may or may not have heard that in the last stream or the stream before that I've been enjoying a different video game a bit. A video game from my childhood. I remember playing it from 2011, 2012, that period. Back in the day, my YouTube channel before this one, this channel is almost 10 years old, by the way. I'm getting old. But my YouTube channel before this was a Minecraft YouTube channel when Minecraft was not brand new, but relatively brand new. Was still in beta. And I restarted playing Minecraft last week. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm really enjoying it. So maybe one day, when I'm ready, Minecraft World Tour stream? There we go. 3 minutes to the breakaway, but this break is going to get caught. Nagashima has fallen, so that's very sad, but it's not like my team has been very valuable to me, so it's not a disaster when one of my riders dips out. $55 kilometers to go. Question by Rune. If you were to be a professional cyclist, big if, would you rather be a good domestique and ride without huge pressure, or a leader within the team who needs to deliver each race? Ooh. I guess it really depends on which kind of rider you are. I think I'm more of a risk-averse person, so I would probably settle for a domestique role without huge pressure. But if I know I've got the talent, then I would like to have the freedom every now and then, maybe in smaller races, you know? That kind of vibe. That's, I think, the answer for me. But I'm never going to be a professional cyclist, and maybe the talent ran in the family, because Oliver and Lawrence do pretty well, but I definitely didn't get that part of the genes, I'm afraid. 40 kilometers to go. Wouter, your teammate has fallen. Meh. I'm sorry, you're right, chat. What's up with all these trees? Is it just a straight road? I swear I have not seen a single corner. Okay, never mind. There have been corners. I'm just blind. But there's so many trees. I can barely see my riders. Can we talk about the fact that Sugeno is just dead from sitting in the peloton? Kawano can protect me now. Last 26 kilometers. Is the play just sitting in Levgonov's wheel and launching earlier than him, maybe? Or will we lose too much red bar by being in his wheel specifically? Ooh. Andrea says, a true tall grass for Pikachu to hide. Yeah. Gives me straight Pokemon vibes. There comes attacks. Attacks in the last 18 kilometers. My team's actually positioning Pikachu at the moment. They're building a sprint train for me. Sorry, buddies. You ain't building a sprint train for me. I'm not allowing you to do that. I'm going to be doing my own stuff here. So, Gonov is part of Enter Pro Cycling, the light blue one. So I'm going to try and move up towards the wheel right now. The rest of my team can sit up on 50. All of them. Because otherwise they're going to be in the way. I know it already. The less riders in the way, the more of a chance I have. I'm in the wheel of Gonov. There's another sprint train here for, I think, Rikunov. What team is that? That's not Elkov. No, it's... I don't know what team that is, actually. Team Akros. Ooh. I like that kit, by the way. I swear they existed already in the past. Anyway, 10 kilometers to go. In the wheel. Lee and Kwok are fighting for the same wheel, but... Buddy, I'm not allowing that. Sun is attacking. So many trees, by the way. 8.7 kilometers to go. Okuda seems to be done for, so Gonov, you better get to the wheel of Tvet instead. What a pretty straightforward lead out so far. Nothing's happening. I'm just sitting in the wheel of Gonov and not doing anything here. I gotta get a podium here. Come on. 5 kilometers to go. Energy shell. I need to be ready. I need to be ready. Last 4 kilometers. I'd like to launch my sprint a bit early, because otherwise there's no way I beat Gonov, you know? Because he's going to ride the perfect sprint, I think. There comes Enterpro. The other team is a slight bit better when it comes to their lead out. Oh, I should have gone for the other train. 2.3 kilometers to go. Not ideal. Last kilometer incoming. Come on. Let's follow, let's follow, let's follow. Let's launch right now. There we go on the right side of the road, but Gonov is simply too fast. We're kind of blocked in by this group right here, and we're going to finish... I have no clue. I finished 4th. I expected the breakaway to be caught earlier. I won't lie. I didn't realize it was going to happen in the last kilometer. And they straight up blocked me. The break blocked me in the last kilometer. I think I podium without that breakaway being there. Right, chat? I think I podium without that break being there. Ah. Shame. I'm so sad. I lost the China League Hong Kong Gang. I've been waiting for this race to exist my entire life. 4th place. That's actually a bit disappointing. Ooh, UAE Team Emirates recruits Healy. What has been happening around the world, by the way? Joao Almeida won the Giro d'Italia ahead of his teammate Isaac Del Toro. Simon Yates in 3rd. Tadej Pikachu. Tadej Pogacar won the Tour de France. Jonas and Joao Almeida. Almeida with a fantastic year. It's crazy. Murice with the KOM jersey at Giro d'Italia. That's a bit odd. When it comes to the rest, we've got Morgado winning TDU. Almeida winning Paris-Nice again. Pogacar takes Tirreno, Tour de Suisse, Tour de Romandie. Vingegaard takes Itzulia and Criterium de Dauphiné. And Catalunya is going to Lenny Martinez. What else do we have? Steven Kruijswijk is Dutch champ. Bro still rides. Matthew Brennan, British champion. Pedersen, Denmark. Blah, blah, blah. Teutenberg, Ayuso, Baroncini, Wout van Aert. Milan won Milano-Sanremo. Manier in 3rd. Pogacar won RVV, not a surprise. Roubaix is won by Miss Pedersen, so congrats to the man. And Jorgensen wins LBL ahead of Almeida. What a year for Almeida. And half of his year is left to ride. Not doing the Vuelta, though. Of course not. He did the Giro and the Tour. Bro cooked. He's also Portuguese champion and ITT champion as well. Anyway, what transfers have there been? Milan stays at Little Trek. Louis Barret going to Groupama FDG. Don't care. Not many transfers. Just Ben Healy going to UAE Team Emirates. And that's about it for now. So it's only the 10th of August. So it's not a surprise that it's so early. By the way, we are August 1st. Are we not supposed to start getting contract offers? Or is that later? Chat, when is that? In the meanwhile, I'm going to simulate to the next race, which is 3 weeks away. Ooh. That's a long time away. Normally, I've got an overview on my right, how many people are watching, but it's not been working the entire time, so I've got no clue if this stream is popular or not. So I have to Google it on my own phone right now. That's 260 of you. Thank you for showing up. 290. Cooking. Anyway. Skelmo is extending, blah, blah, blah. Caja Rural aims for entry in the World Tour division. Okay. Budget considerably increased. That's not happening. We both know that's not happening. It's Caja Rural. What transfers are they going to do to make that happen? Trademark in the chat asks, what's the most seasons you were ever done in a pro cycling manager team career? Ooh. Honestly, probably my series on YouTube. Probably at MB Pro Cycling. Because, spoilers, I don't play Pro Cycling Manager outside of my videos anymore. Oh, panic, panic, chat, panic. Stop the simulation. Stop the simulation. We have news. Offered by Kina and Japan Airlines. I'll be honest, my answer to that is don't care. But also, offered by Unibet Titama Rockets. Ooh la 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 la. So, chat. Last stream and the stream before, all of you in the chat voted for Titama Rockets to become my team in 2027. I'm going to put a poll in the chat. Can I put a poll? I can't put a poll in the chat. What's up, man? Why am I not allowed to put a poll in the chat? I'm going to do it on my... I can't do it on my phone either. We're not putting a poll in the chat. I'm getting boycotted by my streaming software. Not even allowed to do polls anymore. That's sad. Anyway, I'm going to just go off. I'm going to ask you right now. Do I sign for Titama Rockets now? Yes or no? I'll give you about half a minute. Please say yes so we don't have the drama of having to ride for Kina and Japan Airlines next year. We know that the team has... I have no clue what this team has. Trying to click on the name doesn't work, so that's stupid. Click on this name works. The chat says yes. Okay. So we're joining this team. Right now they have Hugo Hofstetter, but his contract is running out. We've got McLeod, de Bond, Charmich. Kubish might be leaving. De Vries stays. They've not been too successful. But they've not been too bad either, actually. They're top 10ing most of their races. Or at least half of their races. In the UCI World Tour ranking, they are probably not going to be a World Tour team, but I assume they're going to be a pro team. Top 18 is World Tour, so they're not in that. They are 21st. They're not far from World Tour. So I think there is a realistic world in which I can help this team get to World Tour next year. So we're signing for them. Them being that high up means that I should go back to that page. That's not the page I'm looking for. 21st means that they will get automatic access to the one-day classics, right? I assume that's true. Because that's what happens in real life. Okay. I'm going to sign. Rider data. Contract. Unibet Titama Rockets. It's happening, chat. Let's move my face to the left. My mouse to the right. Accept contract. Am I sure? Yes, indeed. Teddy Pikachu has officially signed for his brand new team, Unibet Titama Rockets. This will be our team for 2027. I'm not sure we'll stay more than 1 year at that team, but it's a team with a calendar that does fit our rider. Like, we can compete for GC at Tour de la Provence, Tour des Alpes Maritimes, but also Paris-Nice, and hopefully a couple more of those one-week races in World Tour. This should be good. Also, the Hill Classics, even though my rider's better at LBL than at Amstel Gold Race, or Hill Stat's not high enough for the Amstel Gold Race. But for sure, we will get more races where a cobble stat matters. All these 1.1 races, we can compete with our rider who has, let's be honest about it, a cobble stat of 76, and we have not used it once in the last 2 years. The question is, chat, is this the biggest signing that Titama Rockets has ever done? I'm sorry, but Dylan Groenewegen who? Never heard of the man. Teddy Pikachu. That is the man every team wants. Anyway, our next race is the Dolfar Classic, which is once again a flat sprint. Oh, 100-kilometer flat sprint. Our boy's not very good at those, so I don't expect to win that race. But hey, we'll try. We will try. How many seasons did your Rembe save go? I think 5 seasons? I don't know. You'll have to check. It's on YouTube, so I can't check right now. Too busy live streaming. Natasha says Groenewegen is washed, unlike Teddy. Facts. Jov Lauren says, what version of Pro Cycling Manager can you recommend that isn't too complicated? All these sports manager games have got way too deep and I don't have the time. Can I be honest? I think every single PCM is equally as difficult to get into. Pro Cycling Manager is not like a game that expanded necessarily all across the years. It's a game that lost a feature, gained a feature, lost a feature, gained a feature. But the way I do it, or the way I did it back in the day, the way I play games that I don't necessarily would say I'm good at is when I buy a new game, I watch how other people play it with Let's Plays or video series on YouTube or live streams, and I first try and do what they do and try and figure out why they do it. And then the next time you do a playthrough, you can figure out, okay, can I do it better? Can I do it differently? Stuff like that. I'm someone that really grew up with YouTube, you know? So back in the day, whatever game I was playing, I was watching YouTubers play those games too. Still am. Like I said earlier, playing Minecraft, watching some dude on YouTube, building a boat on Minecraft, trying to figure out how I should build my boat on Minecraft. Stuff like that. I'm not talking about the tiny boat, I'm talking about an actual physical big boat. Six days left to simulate. Yelm Ross, you think the Tituma Rockets will have a chance to get a wild card for a Grand Tour next year? In the game, I don't know. In real life? Do you mean in the game or in real life? Because in the game, they might have a chance. In real life? I don't see that happening. Month turn. XP gain for the previous month? 137. What? Huh? Like, all great and all, level 12, I love it. Are you telling me that me doing the physical weekly action gives me 140 XP per month? What? That's crazy. That's OP. That's overpowered. That's insane. Skill point and choose between improvement of attributes and evolution of potential. So let's do that first. Northern Classics? Nah. Stage races. This ups our time trial from 64 straight to 67. That's perfect, because I was a little bit scared. I was a bit scared that when we chose to train stage races, that I might not get as much as if I had trained time trial. But in hindsight, I'm really happy because our mountain stat goes up by 2 to 76. 77 medium mountain stat. Hill stat stays the same, but time trial stat goes up by 3 to 67. Prologue goes up. Recovery goes up by 1. Secondaries all go up by 1. So this is actually fantastic. There we go. Thomas Pultz in the chat says something correctly. And I've pointed this out to the developers actually. The dark green on this page is unreadable. Like, I have to squint to try and figure this out. Anyway, confirm. So, skill point, that's next. Last time we did training to try and get an extra time slot in specific preparation weeks. And on top of that, we chose Fitness Peak Level 1. The question is, What now? Because I actually don't know. We've got full technique. Can I be honest? I know what stealth is. So I'm going to try and move myself to left. There we go. Stealth level 1, short-term bonus usable 2 times during the race. I know what that means. But I haven't really had it come in handy in races of mine. But maybe that's because I'm not using it correctly. Mikael says attentiveness to gain more XP. I'm already level 1. I'm not completely sold. H-Wood Modeling says willpower. I think that might be a good idea. This one right here. This will mean that twice per year, let's say my rider goes to a race, let's say Kuurne, Brussel, Kuurne, and I've got bad race day condition, -2, expected race day condition. By clicking on this willpower bonus, I can invert that into a good day. So willpower is important, but it's September at the moment. October is the last month. Will I be able to level up by the end of the season? I don't know. What do you think, Chad? I get 140 XP per month roughly, times 2, so 280. I should be able to get another 7 XP in races, so I think I can both do attentiveness and willpower by the end of the season. So I'll start with attentiveness, and I'll do willpower as my next one before we get to the end of the season. I think that's the play. So attentiveness I've done, and I'll do willpower level 1 by the end of this year when we level up next time. And I think we will level up by the end of this year twice more. And I'm not sure that's true. We will get XP at the end of September, but I don't think we'll get XP at the end of November. Ooh, it's a gamble. It's a gamble. We'll have to score 140 XP in the races we have left. So that's our challenge. And like Wouter says in the chat, attentiveness will also help us getting that extra level. Let's do this. That's our challenge for the rest of the year then. Okay. So, we've got a team for next year. For the first time in this playthrough, we're changing teams. Pretty hyped about it. Ricardo asked, could you show your rider page afterwards? Yes, we can. Going straight to it. There we go. So the stats are more clear. 76 mountain, 77 medium mountain. Still 76 cobble. But now also a boost in time trial to 67. So that's nice. Secondaries all went up by 1. So 79 resistance, 77 downhill as well. 70 recovery. So that still has to go up if we want to win a Grand Tour. But those stats are pretty damn good already. Like, these are stats with which I can win a KOM jersey in a Grand Tour. Like, let's be honest. I can top 10 a Grand Tour with these stats. I think. Not sure on this difficulty level. Anyway, 2 days to go towards the next race. Okay. Let's see what this race has when it comes to start list. I'm very curious. Because that's going to decide whether I can be competitive in this sprint stage or not. We are third favorite, but Alex Kirsch is here for SWAT Club. Ooh. Quite a few solid sprinters here, so this is going to be difficult. Brady Gilmore as well, pretty strong rider. This will not be easy. Casper Andersen. OGs on the channel will know that that man was our sprinter, winning the green jersey for Tudor Pro Cycling in our playthrough 2 years ago on PCM 2022? 3 years ago. Ooh, it's been a while. Anyway, let's jump into the race. I assume the game's gonna want me to podium this. I don't think this will be easy. I actually think this will be hard. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try and move the screen. Come on. Let me move the screen, damn it. Can I not put this higher? Okay. This was a mistake. I was trying to move my screen to put it on the right top there so I don't look to the right every time I read chat. But I failed. Anyway, finish on the top 3, so exactly as I expected. Riding through the desert today. And I think this is Oman. Yes, this is. So we have a 0 day. 70 sprint stat on the day, so we are relatively competitive. This time I'm not allowing a breakaway to interfere with my last kilometers. So I'm gonna go relay 85. Quite a few attackers, but Sugain is gonna take care of it. Come on, boy. You're a legend. Show me. Times 8. I feel like my team is a bit too far to the front in the peloton, so let's drop myself back to the same place as Gilmore, so I'm more in the draft in this peloton. Yeah, you're right, chat. A wider road and not that many trees in this one, so hopefully that increases our chances of securing that podium. Rapilio says Tudor Pro Cycling was the only one I didn't watch because I honestly was not loving it as much as the others. Aww. Big F. You love the Pro Cyclist from 2019, the Caja Rural and Iolo Cometa. Of course, also Rembe. Can I be honest? I think we peaked with Rembe Pro Cycling. I think it's going to be very difficult for Sirocco to have as good as a story as Rembe. Also because it's going to be a shorter playthrough because I started in Pro Team. I'm enjoying it, don't get me wrong. But let's be honest about it. With Rembe, you fell in love with the Conti riders and some of them made it into the World Tour team that eventually was built and some of them became solid riders. So it's a really, really nice story. Also a massive shout out, to be honest, to the guys, to the team at Rembe and also their marketing agency, Brylon, because they were the one that reached out to me, I think 2 years ago, asking me whether there's a way I could collaborate with them. And then they wanted to financially support a career mode, so that's what allowed me to make the series as good as it was, I think. 50 kilometers to go. Brake is under control. Sukena's almost done for. Don't think my team really matters for this lead out, so gonna use my team to control the breakaway. Let's try and get some water now though with a Honda. Which Honda is shit? I think both Hondas are shit. $27 kilometers to go. Let's try and figure this out. Let's get in the wheel of H Honda. Both of them. Oh, wait a second. There's not even 2 Hondas in my team. For some reason I read Harada as Honda. I thought we had 2 Hondas. I'm not talking about cars. Anyway, I'm keeping myself positioned. This is Alex Kirsch, but he's only got 1 teammate. Wait, is Casper Andersen part of the same team? I think he is. That's a bit intriguing. They've got 2 sprinters then. I assume they're going to sprint for Kirsch, but Andersen is in the wheel of Kirsch. Or are they switching their train around as we speak? I think they are. I think Kirsch is about to go into the wheel of Andersen soon. Last 16k, we got a small attack on the right side of the road. I think I might go to the wheel of Brady Gilmore. I don't trust the train of SWAT Club here. They've only got 2 riders for Kirsch. And the rest of their team is... Guillaume Boivin's a pretty good rider, though, so he might move to the front and be part of that train soon. But I still think the train of Euro Cycling Trips might be the train to choose. Thomas on the chat says, hello, you are going to win. I hope so. But I already be happy if I can podium this race. Still a breakaway of 5 riders. Both Honda and Harada can go to the front on 99 to try and neutralize that. Because I don't want this to interfere with my sprint. Welcome to the chat, Emre. How are you? Oh, God. Oh, my God. You can't be serious. Gilmore crashed, and Teddy Pikachu decided to stop by the side of the road and wait, to do nothing, to chill. Are you serious? With 9 kilometers to go, my dude just said, okay, I'm going to stop here. I was following this man. He decided to crash. Let's wait with him. That's insane. Oh, that's one team less to catch the breakaway, but at least it's more clear which train I need to follow now. Do I attack towards the breakaway here? I think I need to. I think the break's going to win. There we go. I'm attacking towards the break. Aerodynamic position 87. Don't want to spend my entire red bar. We've got Guillaume Boivin going solo at the front. I'm not going to make it to the front in time. Energy Shell way too late. We've got Nat in the wheel. Don't know who that is. 87. Come on, bring us to the front. Last kilometer and a half. Can I get to the wheel here? Spending way too much of my red bar. I'm going to sprint right now, but I don't think it'll be a podium. I don't think it'll be a podium. Ah, come on. This is all the fault of Brady Gilmore. Why did he have to crash? You're right, chat. Pikachu was paralyzed. He saw someone else crash in front of him and decided, okay, I'll wait. I'll wait for Gilmore. What is this? Ay, ay, ay. Thomas in the chat switches his opinion last minute to, I think you're not going to win. I think so too, man. We got 7th. Ah. Gilmore, man. Well, to be fair, it's not Gilmore's fault that Pikachu decides to wait. Once again, not a podium. 7th place. Gilmore used tackle. It was very effective. Oh, no, 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 no. I will take a look straight to the results page. We get a top 10, so I don't think we'll get much XP, if anything. We get 0 XP. That's not the way to go. Please tell me we have better races than sprints. This is better than a sprint. 1.7k climb at 6% with about 5-6 kilometers to go. I think we can work with that. Pikachu is confused. In his confusion, he hurt himself. You're right, Emre. You arrived in the chat. And Teddy decided to bottle it all. So, kind of blame you. Anyway, next race is about to arrive. This one's a punchy one. So this one's where a race we might be able to win, depending on the competition. Can I click on favorites? Yes, I can. Once again, Mario and so forth, but in our second race today, we made a mistake of playing too offensively. I will not make that mistake again. But I am scared, because Lev Gonov is third favorite, which I think Gonov might be able to survive this. But I want to attack on the last climb here, so hopefully that works. Hopefully we can drop Gonov that way. Because if we can't, then Gonov will win the sprint. Because he's just faster than us. He's the one man in this peloton that destroys us every time in the sprint. Finish in the top 10? I swear, we went from my team manager wanting me to get podiums and sprint stages, which is a challenge, to him giving me free XP. Finish in the top 10, mate. If I don't finish in the top 10, this race is a shambles. 0 day, but 72 hill stat. I'm okay with that. 68 sprint. It's all about protecting my boy for this race. Koizumi can go on automatic to get water all day. But it's all about staying in the peloton today. No crazy stuff. Mikkel shouts, attack, attack, attack. I'm afraid not. I'm going to wait as long as possible on this one. But I might try and put some pressure on the group, actually, by pacing 75. Then again, pacing 75 with a guy that has 56 mountain stat. No, 54 mountain stat. 60 hill stat. Not sure it's going to do much. Just trying to put pressure on the hills a little bit, you know? I did not need to go in the breakaway. Chad wants me to go in the break, but I don't think I will. Sorry. Honestly, I think we can compete for this one. The hill's not crazy though, so we have to attack from the foot because the steepest spot is the first half of the hill. Maybe I can try and use Pikachu to try and thin down the herd a bit on the 2 climbs before the final. I will not attack, but maybe just pace, you know, hard pace it. Just to drop a few people in the peloton. Try and use my team actually right now to pace on 85. Koizumi can get some water. I cancelled that out by accident. Kawano can relay as well on 85, and Nakajima can keep me protected. Thomas says you should do a Minecraft stream. I want to, but I don't think it fits on this channel. So maybe on a second channel? I don't know if you would be interested in that though. You know? So my teammates are dead. They did help in thinning down this peloton, but so did other teams. The peloton is now 34 kilometers with 60k to go, so that's good. The more tension in this peloton, the more people dropping, the better. We've got quite a few people attacking, but it's not the strongest riders in the world up front. Matsuda and Oka are not necessarily bad, though. I think Matsuda got like second in the Japanese NCs. Not sure. 4 climbs to go. Is it time to put Nakajima at the front? I think it is. If he can do so, because the tempo from the other teams are also pretty high. Just trying to put pressure on Gonov, you know, because I expect this boy to survive if I don't make the race hard. 4th last climb. Over the top. And we've got 3 climbs left. I think I'll start pacing myself on the next couple of climbs. Let's drop it to 75 to make sure Nakajima can work a little bit longer. Guilherme Brito says, Benji, I was checking your LinkedIn. We got a spy over here. And I saw you were once a JavaScript developer, therefore a programmer. I'm a programmer and also love cycling. How did you go from being a programmer to working with T-cycling teams? That's one cycling I would like to do one day. I think it's not as simple as I went from being a programmer to working with teams. I think basically the journey started almost 13, 14 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, when I said it earlier in the stream, I kind of grew up with YouTube. And when I watched people playing video games and making YouTube videos out of it, then I was also interested in doing that as a kid. So let's say that I uploaded my first YouTube video on a different YouTube channel maybe 13 years ago. And that being the case means that that was my first way into making videos. I'm spending too much red bar on Pikachu, putting him on relay. Lots of people try to attack. I want to try and move up a little bit. Can I put any pressure on myself on this climb? I don't think I can because Sawada is doing it for me, so I don't need to. So I'll sit up for another lap. But I started off by making YouTube videos 13, 14 years ago. And then I was studying for IT, stuff like that, so programming. And eventually that led to me starting this YouTube channel 10 years ago almost. And I started uploading Pro Cycling Manager videos. Let's be honest, it didn't start too well. I didn't hit that, like, I didn't immediately have 10,000 people watching my Pro Cycling Manager videos. That grew over time. So let's say that in 2020 then, the second important factor hit. Yes, I had people watching my Pro Cycling Manager videos in 2020, but I also realized that in that year I was doing a job as a programmer. I'm going to focus on the race for a second on this climb. Move to the front on 85 and start pacing. Group of 33. Don't want to attack on this one, but I want to try and pressure a little bit. Actually, that's an attack by Mario. Let's try and follow the group. Perfect. Over the top. And try and get some water in the descent. That would be nice. A perfect group to be with, but I need them to relay with me. 20 seconds on the group behind. Gonov is in the group though. Ay, ay, ay. But I was staying. Are these guys going to relay with me or not? Let's do 77. I don't want to go full either if these guys don't relay. Let's do 80. I can see on the right top what effort I need to do to make them relay, but I've been doing most of the turns here, so they're clearly not cooperating properly here. So the next step then was, in my story from earlier, that I realized that making Pro Cycling Manager videos is fun. It was a great hobby. But if I ever wanted to be a YouTuber per se, it wasn't going to come from Pro Cycling Manager videos financially, you know, because I also have to survive if I make this my full-time job. So then I met, ooh, we got an attack. I don't like that. Especially because this group is going to look at me now. Are they? No, someone else is looking. Other teams are pacing. I should have followed that attack. Come on, group. Relay with me. Oh, come on. That's bad. Gap is 40 seconds. I did not expect them to attack on the flat. I'll be honest about that. I'll have to attack towards them on the climb, which then I definitely won't be able to get away. There comes my attack. Let's do 85. I'm pacing towards them. And I'm going to have to go harder. Or can I get to their wheel on time? And now I'll try and attack again. They're going on the left side, but they're in my wheel. That won't work. Acrobatic descent. It's not a long descent, but I might as well try. 5 kilometers to go. It's not working. So Energy Shell, get to the wheel of Gonov and try and beat him in the sprint. Gap is 2 minutes on the peloton, so we can afford to just stay in the wheel and regenerate red bar. We don't need to pace here. Last 3 kilometers. 2.9. There comes an attack by Mario. I have no red bar. I need to recover red bar. I need to recover red bar. I need to recover. I need to recover. Last kilometer in the wheel. I'm going to launch right now. I'm going to finish second here. Yeah, I'm going to finish second. Gonov wins. Should have seen it coming, to be honest. He's the best sprinter in this race. We get second place, which I'm really happy about, to be honest. I could have won this if I didn't miss the attack of those 3 riders. I had to be reactive there. I had to attack towards them. If I am with them, I can attack away from them. But I'm still happy with the second place. But anyway, the rest of my story is in 2020, I met Patrick, Lantern Rouge. We had a half an hour call on Discord because I wanted to do something more within cycling itself. And he wanted to expand his content from being just videos about summaries of cycling races to actually being podcasts and talking about it as well in that sense. So we just started a podcast and GP Plouay, then the Tour de France came along. 20,000 viewers on the last stage of the Tour de France, or at least the Planche de Belfi time trial. So it went really well that year. And it grew from there. And that podcast then led to people within the sport knowing who we were. Also, next to that, I'm a pretty vocal guy on Twitter, which probably helped as well in letting the people know that I exist. And that's how teams, because riders and staff also listen to the podcast. That's how Visma Lease Bike was interested in hiring me as a video analyst in 2022. That's how I got to know riders, etc. So it's because of YouTube videos and that stuff that I ended up being... The whole conclusion to that story is, if you want to work in the sport... I'm simplifying this. I'm in a privileged position where I'm able to make YouTube videos as a hobby next to my work. Not a lot of people might not have time to do that. I don't know, some of you might have kids, some of you might be kids. So all these things combined, I'm in a privileged position that I had the opportunity to do that. But I would say that the one thing that always helped me is that regardless of whether I made money out of it at that point, I kept putting content out. I kept doing shit. And I tried to make content that other people would see. And if those other people see it, then you might get opportunities that you might not get otherwise, you know? So I sometimes get questions from, let's say hypothetically, a journalist who says, okay, how can I make it into, or someone trying to become a cycling journalist or trying to become a cycling podcaster or something. But then they don't have content out there yet. They're not making YouTube videos, or they don't have a beginner podcast yet. You always got to begin first. And once you begin, it will be shit the first thing you upload. My first video was shit. I'm glad no one can find that. It takes time to get better at what you do, you know? Anyway, sorry for the rant. Second place behind Lev Gona for Teddy Pikachu. Matrix Power Tag Team classification, don't care. But the second place does give us XP 28. That's perfect. Exceptional result. Getting a second place, so I'm happy with that. That's very good. Any cool transfers in our list here? Not really. Okay. So. Ooh, what day are we today? September 8th. We're September 7th in our playthrough. Let's go one day further. What is this message? Oh, I got a scam phone message. What is that? Benji, you won 20,000 euros. Sure, buddy. Okay. So, 8th of September, I just paused the game just because I wanted to be on the same date in PCM as I am in real life. I think that's fun. Thomas says, Benji clearly loves cycling and it shows in the content. Wouter says, first I heard of you was when when you were a guest at Viva Velo. Yeah. So, for the people that don't know, in 2022, I went on Belgian TV at like this post-Tour de France TV show called Vive le Velo. And the next day I went to the Tour de France start in Lille, which is close to Belgium. And I'm telling you, every 7 meters, someone was like, hey, you're the guy from TV from yesterday. I was shocked at the effect of Vive le Velo. That was a crazy morning the day after. Anyway, next race is... Ooh la 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 la, parkour. Look at this. 2.2 kilometers, 7%. We should win this. Like... Who of these people is going to compete with us? Axel Mario? No, thank you, buddy. You're going to get cooked. That's a race we need to win. Let's simulate towards it. Yeah, it's like... I love cycling, but I also love making videos. I think it's the combination. Because, like I said earlier, this is not my first YouTube channel, and my last two were not cycling related. One was about Minecraft, and one was about... Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth. One of the best games ever made, by the way. So yeah. So I think even if it wasn't cycling, I would have also always wanted to make YouTube content. if that makes sense. Cycling was just my way in. Let's be honest about it. Anyway, enough talking about me. Let's talk about you guys. I don't know what to ask. I think it's weird for me to ask, what do you do in your life? That's your privacy. Logolist asked, do these channels still exist? I'm afraid not. So, on the Lord of Rings Battle for Middle-earth one, let's be honest, this is like 15 years ago. I uploaded one PCM video because I was starting to transition into PCM content. And I think it's fair to say that the organization behind the Tour de France, ASO, Amity Sports Organization, I used in one of my PCM videos, the only PCM video I ever made on that YouTube channel. I used a clip of Vincenzo Nibali crossing a finish line winning for like 5 seconds or something. And they took down my whole channel. Really painful. Hey, lesson learned. Don't mess with copyright. Ruben Kloos, waar ben jij? Where are you? I was born in Belgium, but I live in the UK. H-Wood Modeling, Schielmo's One Love Vuelta. We'll check it in a second. Chris K, PCM was your way into cycling? Yes. Correct. Without Pro Cycling Manager, in 2006, without my mom coming home with a magazine that had PCM 2005 attached to it, or 2006, I wouldn't have been here. Lilex asks, what is a nice monument to watch live? Any opinion? I think a lot of people would say Ronde van Vlaanderen, Tour of Flanders. I will say Paris-Roubaix. I think the vibe of people hanging out with all their campers at Paris-Roubaix. On the Saturday, you've got the Sportif, so all the amateurs like myself next year. I'm going to ride the Sportif again. Spoilers. I'm going to ride the longer one. That on the Saturday. And they're moving the women's race to the Sunday morning now. Which, for the women, that's bad. Because they have to wake up at like 4 in the morning to get their breakfast in. But for me, it's pretty good. Because now I can ride the Sportive on the Saturday at my tempo. Anyway. We're not the favorite? What? How is Axel Mario the favorite here? What is this guy's stats? Come on. I need to see these soon. I bet his hill stat is just better than mine. And I think that's why the game thinks he's going to win. But I'm sorry, look at the parkour. I should chop him in half. Anyway, I guess we'll find out in the race. This might be the last race I do today because I also need to hop on the bike. I won't lie. I've been lacking a bit of motivation the last 2 weeks. But I need to get on the bike. If I'm serious about my fitness, I need to do it. And I was speaking to Remco the other day and I was yapping about haven't been too motivated to ride my bike in the last 2 weeks. And dude responded, gotta make time, buddy. So I'm gonna do what he said. I'm gonna make time to ride my bike. Thomas says, was this the race we won by like 13 minutes last year? I don't know. I don't think it was. I won the national championships road race by a lot last year. I think that was 6 minutes only though. Could be wrong. I think this was the race I lost, actually. Break up the road. By the way, Teddy Pikachu's injured. Look at the left top. We got a little red cross next to us. And I can assure you, my dude is not from Switzerland. Even though Switzerland would be a white cross in a red background, but we'll go with it. This parkour is super hard, so what if I just make this a really hard race with my team? I'm saying that as if my team is gonna do anything here. They're worthless. I'm gonna pace 85 anyway. Yeah, this was the race last year that I lost. I think I finished behind like Elliot Schultz and stuff. I vividly remember this race and losing it. Team's actually doing a pretty good job making this race hard, but I need to use someone to protect Pikachu, so let's do Kawano. Although, actually, we've only dropped one rider and it's my own rider, so... Not sure my strategy of making the race hard is working well at the moment. But at least I'm controlling the breakaway. I'm also assuming that whenever my teammates are done here, that the team of Mario, the black and orange team here, are going to take over and make the race hard as well. So I think it helps me to do this with my team, because otherwise my riders will get dropped anyway later on in the race. So this is our best play. Then again, I might actually keep Yamamoto in the wheel. The other two can do the relay. I've got a decrease in energy on Pikachu, so you can see it on the left bottom right now. I don't think that's necessarily an injury. I think that's just either fatigue or something. I don't know. But a -2 on the day, so definitely not the best day for our man. Sugeno and Koizumi are doing a fantastic job. Let's get some water with Kawano, maybe? Probably should have done it with Yamamoto, then I still have protection. Especially on a climb like this, I'm wasting so much energy on Kawano. $73 kilometers to go. So we got 53 riders left in the peloton, and as I expected, the team of Mario is now pacing. I've got 3 teammates left, well, 2 teammates left. Yamamoto's looking pretty good, actually. So, well, still 70% of the peloton left, you know? Shaki in the chat has checked. We got 4th in this race last year, behind Nahom Zerai, Tarame, and Schultz. I vividly remember losing this race, yeah. Thank you, Shaki. Ooh, should I get water yet? No. Maybe in an upcoming descender on top here I will do it. With Kawano, because he's almost done for anyway, so that will be his last job for the team. Yamamoto can start protecting me. Hopefully Kawano can do this. Get water and get to the front, buddy. Get water, get to the front. There we go. Perfection, Kawano. Perfect job today. Excellent. $45 kilometers to go. Yamamoto back in the wheel because Kawano's back. Pikachu needs to start moving up. It's 40 kilometers to go, so now it's going to get harder this race. 2 minutes 30 to the front of the race. I'm going to start... Should I do it myself already? I think I will. So I will get Kawano to protect Pikachu, and Pikachu can do pacing 85 on this climb. Let's try it. Let's see if I thin down the hurt this way. One breakaway rider is caught. Yamamoto can protect me because Kawano is basically done for. See what happens to the peloton here. 46 people when the climb starts. 45. Because spacing towards the top, 44. Not exactly the biggest differential here. Well, 36, 8 people off the back. Don't want to waste too much energy doing this, but I do want to put in a bit of damage here. 34. Let's maintain position. And Yamamoto can keep on pacing now on 85. I'll get into the wheel. There we go. We thinned down the herds a little bit. 34 people left. Third last climb incoming. I think the last climb is not full. Yeah, indeed. So the one to the finish is only half the climb. So we can't wait until that climb because we're a worse puncher than Mario. We have to do it with playing aggressive on the next 3 climbs. We got to get our yellow bar back. We are doing that perfectly. Let's go back to effort cursor 85. Perfection. Gonna try and go 87 on the climb. Push a little bit more on this one. Let's see what happens here. Quite a few people spending their red bar. You can see that from the way they're out of the saddle. Let's do 88. Multiple people dropping. Mario's not in trouble, of course. Is it 9? We've got to move on the left side of the road. It includes Mario following, so gonna follow that wheel. There we go. And they stop their attack, but let's keep going, boys. Why not? 13 seconds on the peloton. Let's see what happens. We're catching the breakaway riders, which include Levgonov the sprinter. That's funny. Let's hope he doesn't win this one. 20 seconds on the peloton only. Mario's not relaying with me, so that's a bit of a bummer. I'll relay until we get to the front group, maybe. Hashikawa keeps pacing, so let's sit up now. And he also sits up. Can I just attack away from them? That's stupid. I think this is not worth it, this effort, so I'll drop it down to 30, maintain position, and I'll try and really generate my yellow bar as much as possible in this descent, and I'll try and make my attack on the next climb. I wish Mario would be pacing with us. We'd go in a 3-way attack, and that would be good, I think. But now we go back onto the climb. And I think I've got some space here. Yes, indeed. There we go. Let's do 90 to the top. 20 seconds on the peloton. We're in the breakaway now. We're getting caught, but I'll attack again. There we go. Not aerodynamic yet. Needs to flatten out first. We've got Vermote with us. Not Yellow Vermote. It is Yellow Vermote, actually. Not Julien Vermote, I mean. Alex Koolman with us. I will use my aerodynamic position right now on 90. Is that too much? Let's maintain a relay with them. We're dropping Yellow Vermote and Mario's catching up. We're dropping Koolman. I want Koolman with me, but I want Mario to stay behind. And that is happening for now. But our yellow bar is emptying, so that's not nice. I assume we're putting the peloton on a bit of a gap, though, so that's good. Mario is stuck in between, but we are relaying, so technically we have the upper hand for now, but he's about to catch up, I think. But he looks to be out of red bar there. I think he's out of red bar, but I need to regenerate in the descent, so let's drop it down to maintain position 30. Mario will come back in the descent, but I'm okay with that. I just need to recover as much yellow bar as possible here, because that's the key. Gap is still 8 seconds. Next climb incoming. I don't have that much yellow bar, so I'm not too happy. Mario is in the wheel. I don't like that. I'm going to maintain position in his wheel, and he attacks me. He attacks me right here. Hopefully that is a mistake by him. Hopefully he's overextending. Can I see that? Let's pause it. Let's right-click on Mario. Observe. I cannot observe twice. Okay, I can't see his... I was hoping to see his yellow or red bar on the left bottom, but that's not happening. We've got Tvet with us. Relay on 85. We're getting back to the wheel because Mario's done for. Oh, there goes the attack. I'm going because Mario, I think, is empty. No, he's not. He's at a red bar, though. He's at a red bar. I think he's at a red bar. Come on, Pikachu. We gotta survive this flat part on top, though. We're spending so much energy. Oh, Mario's struggling. Coleman is also struggling, but I'm also struggling. We've been caught, so let's sit up. Oh, what's happening? Nothing, okay. Let's get in the wheel and let's try to recover. We need to recover as much as possible now because our yellow bar is looking very thin. Need to recover as much yellow as possible in this descent. So let's drop it down to 30 pretty soon. Right now. There we go. Mars says acrobatic descent. I don't think I will. Trying to recover as much as possible to win the sprint uphill. I know Mario's the better rider on paper, but I have no choice here. There we go. In the wheel of Mario. I'm going to stay there. He launches early. He launches early. I'm in the wheel. I'm in the wheel, but he's going to beat me. There goes my sprint. Getting third again. Ah, come on. Ah. Ah. I had him. I had him with a lap to go. He was on the limit. But I just did not have the energy to keep my attack going. That's a shame. That's a big shame. We tried. We lost. Third place in the Minamyonuma road race. Mr. S says too late. Nah, the timing of our sprint didn't matter. We didn't have a red bar. We lost all our energy before the sprint started. In the wheel of Mario. His puncher stat is way too good for us to beat. In an uphill sprint like that. And I couldn't get away from him before the sprint started. So I don't see a way I could have won that. Maybe if I played better, I get second. But don't care too much about getting second. Podium is a podium. Anyway, what was our goal here anyway? Top 3. So at least we got what our team wanted. That's nice. Okay. Let's get this race over with. Harada is an hour and 10 minutes behind. That rider is worthless. No offense if Harada is watching this video, but in the game, you suck, man. Mantrop says last year 4th in this race, for this year, next year 2nd. I don't think we're riding this race anymore, I'm afraid. We're stepping up to the big league. Despite not winning this race. It's not a great sign for next year. There it is. 3rd place for Teddy Pikachu on 7 seconds of Axel Mario. I need to know these guys' stats. I need to know it. Ahoy, Lucas. Welcome to the chat. From the Czech Republic. So, there we go. Podium. We get 13 XP from that. It's not that much, but it's something. So, we have had results so far. We got 9th in the road race Tokyo Tama. We got 4th in the Hong Kong Gang race. 7th, 2nd, and 3rd. So, not a single victory today. Ooh, getting loads of messages. What's happening? So, we've got 5 more race days left, and I'm going to do one more thing in this episode, and that is take a look at the Vuelta. The Vuelta was won by Matthias Skjelmose, ahead of Tobias Halland Johannessen. Daniel Felipe Martinez getting 3rd. Fisher Black taking the white jersey. What a weird Vuelta. What was the start list for this? Let's take a look. Can I see that here somewhere? I think I need to go back 1 week. Burgos. No, I need to go further 1 week. I'm so confused. So wait, look at the top. Week from 21st of September, I go back 1 week, and I'm at the start of August. How did that happen? Anyway, we've got Vuelta. Not on the list yet. 1 week further. There we go. Start list. Can I see the start list? Ooh, Is anyone here? Ineos started the Vuelta with 6 riders. So did EF and Decathlon. What happened? Lots of teams did this. Enric Mas, Kjelmoze were here. Jai Hindley. Visma Lease Bike with Simon Yates. UAE Team Emirates with Adam Yates. And that's it. Such a weak Vuelta. I'm saying it, chat. I'm saying it. In my opinion, Teddy Pikachu could have won that Vuelta. Anyway, that is a crazy result for this Vuelta. But it's also because the start list was incredibly weak. Wins by 7 minutes too. Ridiculous. Simon Yates on 17 minutes. Bro got cooked. What a weird Vuelta. Anyway, we're finishing off today's episode with today's live stream with a rider that is stronger than when we started today. We've done 5 races with 0 victories, so that's a bit of a bummer. But I'm ready for the next couple of races, and I can't wait to do so. But I'm afraid that's going to be for the next live stream. Sorry, chat. This man is going to find some dinner. So, as always, thanks for watching today's live stream. We've got 6 more stages to go in La Vuelta. The race is about to be decided. Almeida or Vingegaard. Drop in the comments of this live stream who you think is going to win La Vuelta with 1 week left, because Vingegaard's the favorite still, but Almeida has more than 0% chance now. He actually has a chance. Oh yeah, Chartox, you're right. I did win a race in this live stream. I'm lying. We won the National Championships Japan. Time trial. We cooked. I disrespected my own rider. Can't believe it. Anyway, on that note, I'll see you next time.